21. Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag
The
of the
United
United States of America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty
and
and justice for all.
Is there an optional prayer, I believe, this evening from Councilwoman Showerman for invocation?
This is an inspiration from Buddha. It says, what you think, you become, what you feel, you attract, and what you imagine, you create.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Showerman.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, could we have roll call, please?
Mr. Horton, Mr. Rastetter,
I'm sorry, here.
Yes, here, I'm here too.
Mrs. Rennie,
Here.
Mrs. Showerman,
Here.
Mr. Shank,
here.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Mrs. Clear,
Here. Okay, so for right now, we have the hearing of the public. Those members of the county that have called in will be receiving 5 minutes apiece. After those 3 people have gone from the hearing of the public, I will then open it up to those that are on here and would like to speak. If you would like to message me in the chat, you can message me and in that order, and then I can call on you at that time. You'll have 3 minutes. So for the first person that we have here on for hearing of the public is Juan Liarna from Erie, Pennsylvania. Juan, are you available here today? Okay, it doesn't seem that we have Juan on at this time. You can also, yes, use the raise hand button to speak as well. Thank you. So now we are going to be moving to Robin Crago from Mill Creek Township. Robin, I don't think you are on today. I did get a note from Robin that she was having trouble with her internet. So she was not able to get on today. Just so you know, she's going to be sending the words that she was going to be saying to all of you. So I don't think she's on here. So I guess we're going to be moving on to Terry Twilley.
I'm here. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Terry, would you please state your full name and your address? And at that time, after you are done, you are going to be able to begin, and you will get 5 minutes, Ms. Twilley.
Okay. My name is Terry Twilley. Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Terry Nicole Twilley. My address is 516 East 21st Street, Erie, PA, 16503.
Okay, and you can begin, Ms. Twilley. You have 5 minutes.
All right. Well, I am calling in regards to the racism, the resolution 43, I believe. Like racism being a mental health crisis. I wanted to say racism is more than a mental health crisis. It is a, it is a financial, it's a physical, it's damaging to the soul. I used to work at the Erie County Courthouse in a department. And I believe that their qualified immunity stopped me from functioning in my life. I believe they looted my life with the word racism. And they got away with it because of qualified immunity. I went to court, I stayed in court for 4 years working at the courthouse. My life has never been the same since I left there. And when I was complaining, when I was there, they was looking at me like I was stupid. But then I read in the resolution as to how they're doing people of color in this city all these years. So when I was complaining, my complaint was valid, but it was invalid. So what I want to do is not leave it the way it was for me. I want to make a difference because, you know, I listen to the mayor, he's telling people how he wants things to change. If no one says anything as to what they want changed, then things will stay the same. I was looking at the wall of the courthouse when I went down there the other day. And on the wall, they have sheriffs, and it begins in 1914. So when I went there, I want to talk very plain because sometimes when I get, you know, excited, I really, sometimes I feel choppy. But when I walked into the courthouse for the first day, I knew I walked into a place that was different. You know how you walk in a place and you know that something's going on, but you can't quite put your finger on it. That's how I felt. But I didn't know the degree to the damage in which being there would cause me. I read that they pay Black people 6 times less than what they pay African Americans. So the pusic smiles and the funny grins that people give you, because they're looking at you because they know what they're doing to you as an individual. And I think those things need to change. I also feel like they should have a place where people can go to for help and assistance and have like, they should have a place or an office somewhere that people can go to get the truth. You know, we're not allowed to get the truth because we don't get the information as we should.
Ms. Twillie, you've accidentally muted yourself. Okay.
I'm sorry, what happened?
You just muted yourself for a minute. You're okay. You still have about 40 seconds left.
Okay. I'll call again next week. So can you put me on there for next week? Because I am not done yet. I just think that there's changes that need to be made to make things different and make them better for Black people in the city. Because if not, if we go into tomorrow with the same thing that we had yesterday, we will be in the Stone Ages. They said 1960 was this time. We're still living in 1960 and it's 2021. The world needs to change. It just does. I can go on, but I don't have time. I don't have time.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Ms.
yeah.
Twillie. We appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sure. If you could mute yourself too, when you're not speaking, everyone that's on, if you wouldn't mind muting yourself when you're not speaking, we'd appreciate that too. Thank
I
you.
don't know how.
Oh, you can press your space bar, or if you press your phone, there should be a mute option. Okay, in the order, I've received some direct messages. We've got Mr. Leopold, Ms. Taylor, and then I see Ms. Etchison is on as well. So we're going to start with Mr. Leopold. You are going to have 3 minutes. Mr. Leopold, if you could please state your name and your address, and then after you do that, I will go ahead and start your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Clear. My name's Art Leopold, 5341 Apple Grove Lane, Erie, PA.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, and I will start your time when you begin.
Thank you, honored county councilmen and esteemed councilwomen, valued administrative members and concerned citizens. My main concern today is about the planned IRG plant to be located on the Lower East Side, less than half a mile from the now shuttered Erie Coke plant in a designated environmental justice area. Briefly, it is to be a plastics recycling and flaking operation that is 10 times larger than any other built to date, receiving plastic waste from a 750-mile radius in the volume of between 250,000 tons and 5 million tons annually, with its main client, a steel company just a lake barge or a dozen of truck trips away in Canada. There are many unknowns about the processing operation, and we have little real information other than the marketing materials on the business to draw from. The good folks at the Green New Deal Erie Group produced a questionnaire to solicit answers to questions that are pertinent to the business, operations, environment, and the community, especially the residents of the area surrounding the proposed plant. Although widely published and disseminated in social media, to date, Mitch Heck, the CEO, the local president, and the company representatives have chosen not to respond. So here are my asks today. Please request and sponsor a series of public informational meetings for the neighbors and the community to ask questions and get answers. And IRG should be present. Number two, please insist that some of those neighbors be at the table while the business and the plant are being formalized to make sure that their interests and concerns are processed in a fair and open way. And number three, please make sure that the ownership is held accountable for its operation. Should a fire happen at the plant, a spill occur in the lake when barging contaminated plastic waste flakes to Canada, or it just happens to shut down, they should be held accountable. We have had the experience with the old Coke plant, and now is the time to prepare for the worst outcome and hope for the best. Now is the time to ask questions, get answers for our citizens, our city, and our residents who will be affected by plant operations. I thank you for your attention. I appreciate it. And I just wanted to offer all respect for Ms. Twilley and her comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leopold. You hit the 3-minute mark exactly. You must have timed it.
I did.
Thank you very much. We now have Miss Margaret Taylor. So, Mr. Taylor, we'll have 3 minutes. If you would please state if you would please give your full name and your address, and then I'll begin your 3 minutes when you are done.
Yes, my name's Margaret Taylor. I live at 1015 Chelsea Avenue in Mill Creek. Thank you for hearing me today. I appreciate it. I'm here to talk to you again about the National Infrastructure Bank. I came in December and talked to you about it, and I'm speaking to you again because now's the time. It's such an urgent issue. The National Infrastructure Bank, it was HR Bill 6422, was introduced last year to Congress and will be reintroduced this year. The Infrastructure Bank would provide low interest loans to states and municipalities for infrastructure improvements, such as roads, bridges, broadband, water projects. And for every dollar that's invested, $3 to $7 would be returned. It would also provide lots of jobs. The details of how the bank would be capitalized can be found at their website. It's kind of complicated. Their website is nibcoalition.com. The most exciting part of this resolution is that it is budget neutral. It would not require an increase in taxes. It would not increase the deficit. Therefore, it could gain support from Republicans and Democrats alike and create the possibility for the people of the United States to come together to fight a common enemy, financial and structural decay. We've had 4 such banks in our nation's history. The first was under Alexander Hamilton. The last was the RFC under Hoover Roosevelt. That allowed the US to recover from the Depression and gear up for World War II. The National Infrastructure Bank Coalition actually presented detailed information about how the bank could benefit Erie County to the Jefferson Society on April 22nd. It was taped and it's available to be reviewed. I would recommend it. I'm asking Ms. Clear and Mr. Ratstatter, both of whom expressed some interest in this, to consider having a conversation with the co-chairs of the coalition. I'd be happy to facilitate. They could provide more details about how other PA counties and municipalities have endorsed the resolution and assist in the process. The resolution has been introduced and supported in 20 states, in Pittsburgh, Allentown, PA, Philadelphia, PA, Northampton County, Lancaster, PA, Cleveland, Toledo, lake cities like Erie. So that's my presentation. I hope you'll consider it. Thank you. And Mrs. Twilley, I feel the same about your presentation. Very, very impressive. Thank you for speaking up.
Thank you very much, Ms. Taylor. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Would you mind messaging me your phone number in the chat? Thank you very much. Next up on our agenda, we have from Hearing of the Public is Janice Etchison. I'm sorry, Ms. Etchison, you are muted. If you want to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much for recognizing me.
And if you could please state your full name and your address, and then I'll begin your 3 minutes as soon as you're finished.
My name is Janice Etchison. I live at 376 Joshua Drive, which is located in northwestern Harbor Creek. I am here to talk about my concerns regarding the IRG plant, as did Mr. Leopold. There are many things that I'm concerned about, but I want to just speak to 2 specific issues because I think everybody here should know that about these 2 issues, which I think can be a danger. And without finding out why these issues can be a danger, I think we would be remiss in allowing such a corporation to be here. The first Mr. Leopold mentioned, which is a fire, because large amounts of plastic items will be stored at the plant. Why I'm saying that this is a danger, a fire could happen, is because you have to know just a little bit about how plastic is made. It starts out with fracked gas, all that gas that's being fracked from the Marcellus Shale just south of here in the Pittsburgh area. And the fracked gas goes to the cracker plant, which is being built in Beaver County. And at the cracker plant, and the reason it's called a cracker plant is because the molecules of gas, which are referred to as ethane, are cracked. And the result of the cracking is called ethylene. These are organic compounds that I'm speaking about. The compounds are small and extremely flammable. And so if we're going to store tons of plastic waiting for it to be flaked or sent off to Canada, the issue is that plastic is sitting there and heating up, because it's not going to be just individual pieces of plastic. They'll be piled up on top of each other. And I think that knowing that and doing some research on that chemistry of plastics is very important. My second concern is where this place may be built, if indeed it does come to fruition. It will be built in the area of East 6th Street, East 10th Street in the Opportunity Zone on the Lower East Side. And when I think I heard or read Mr. Hecht say that what will happen.
Ms. Etchison, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Your 3 minutes has expired.
Okay, well, at least I got one thing out.
Thank
Please investigate plastic and also the traveling, the trucks and where they will be traveling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Is there anyone present that would like to speak at this time? Any members of the public that wish to speak at this time? And then a third time, any members of the public that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Thank you to those people that took the time to come and speak with us today. It really does mean a lot when we get to hear from the public. So thank you very much. Next item up on our agenda is our minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 20th, 2021?
So moved, it's Ellen.
Second.
That has been moved by Ms. Showerman and seconded by, Councilwoman Showerman and seconded by Councilwoman Rennie. Mr. Smith, can we call for the, or no, it's not call for the question.
On the
Roll
approval of
call.
minutes,
Roll call.
on the approval of minutes, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastatter,
I'm sorry, could you say that again, Mr. Smith?
Mr. Rastatter,
Here, yes, yes,
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes,
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Okay, next on our agenda, we have the reports from county officials. And here representing the county executive and or her designee, we have Mr. Sparber. Mr. Sparber, is there a report from the county executive and her designee?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. There will be no report tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Next we have from the finance committee, and that would actually be me, Mrs. Clear. Councilwoman Clear, is there anything? Yes, there is. Today, I'm going to be, we had a finance meeting on Thursday, April 29th, 2021, and I would like to submit these items to the agenda: old business, items A through D, and new business, items A through J. Thank you very much. Okay, then we are moving on to our personnel committee. And we have Chairwoman Rennie, do you have a report today from the personnel committee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Personnel Committee also met on Thursday, April 29th. There are no items for tonight's agenda from that meeting. So thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Rennie. Okay, we actually have two citations tonight. The first is Jared Jerry Ott Sr., 1929 to 1921. Mr. Smith, would you like to give a few highlights? And then I believe Chairman Anderson has a few comments.
Whereas Gerard Jerry Ott Sr., surrounded by his loving family, passed peacefully from this world on April 25, 2021, the age of 91 years, son of the late Carl and Mary Kinley Ott. He was a true Erie legend, and whereas Erie was a proud graduate of Strong Vincent High School, class of 46, renowned for his athleticism, was named captain of the Strong Vincent baseball team for 2 seasons. Upon graduating, Mr. Baseball signed a major league contract with the Cleveland Indians 1947. Whereas Jerry's experience took him to Class D baseball and eventually Class C, rising as high as Class B and as a Harrisburg senator in 1951, was a fan favorite in the cities where he played, though he remained humble and grateful for these opportunities. Whereas Jerry broke his wrist before he could make it to the big leagues, he returned to his hometown of Erie, where he founded the Erie Lakers semi-pro baseball team and served as their coach. Whereas Jerry dedicated himself to the success of professional baseball in Erie, was inducted into the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, Metro Erie Chapter 1991, helped Team Erie achieve unprecedented success. A newly built stadium was named in his honor in 1995, Jerry Ut Park. He's survived by his loving wife of 49 years, Natalie North Ut, and 9 children.
Okay.
Also 27 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mr. Smith. And Chairman Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Smith, for giving us some of those highlights of certainly a life so well lived and so deserving of our recognition. Jerry Ut was a lifelong friend of my mother. My mother was a classmate, Strong Vincent, class of 47, with Natalie North. And of course, Jerry Ut was a lifelong friend and baseball team member of our former colleague, Paul Faust. All of those people had spoken so very highly of him and the accomplishments that he has made throughout his life and in our community, a lifelong Erie resident who dedicated his life here and raising his family here. And certainly we don't want to forget that he's the father-in-law of our good friend and Judge John Trusilla, the Court of Common Pleas. And I had the opportunity to go to school with Jerry Jr. And know many of the members of the Hood family, and certainly just want to send out my personal condolences and that of my family, and remembering Jerry Ut for the man that he always was in our community, and certainly he will not be forgotten. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you taking the time to do that as well and to have this drawn up. Our next citation is actually for the Erie County Health Department, which I am very excited about. And I do see that we have here in the audience Miss Melissa Lyon, who is the director of our Erie County Health Department, one of the few health departments in Pennsylvania, and we are lucky enough to have Miss Lyon here. Mr. Smith, would you, do we have a title that we could read of that?
Yes, Madam Chair. Erie County Health Department, Public Health Crisis Response Recognition. Shall I read it then?
I do think that it would be an honor. I would like to just mention that Councilwoman Showerman, who I know does not want to take all credit for this, this was actually her original idea, but this comes from all of us here on Erie County Council, and to demonstrate our appreciation for all, we're about at that 1 year mark, Ms. Lyon, of a pandemic that I never thought I would live to see. But anyway, so this is, I think, is from all of us here on County Council to demonstrate our appreciation. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Whereas the Erie County Department of Health, ECDH, was established by vote in 1955. ECDH's mission is to preserve, promote, and protect the health, safety, and well-being of the people and the environment of Erie County. And whereas the Erie County Department of Health, in accordance with its mission and through traditional enforcement and regulatory measures, has chosen to act in the role of guardian and as an advocate in all matters relating to public's health, inclusive of Erie County local communities and those affecting the Commonwealth, which today are aligned with disease prevention, environmental protection. And whereas Erie County Council passed Resolution 20/2019, urging the Commonwealth and the county governments to support the Erie County Department of Health's pursuit of a 21st century public health model and infrastructure to align public health response and responsibilities that come with new and emerging public health risks, issues, and concerns. The resolution empowered the ECHD to regulate, guide, and assist emerging public health and environmental issues and concerns. Whereas the SARS virus has caused a carnivorous disease 19 pandemic in over 100 countries worldwide since it presented itself in January 2020. Since Erie County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper declared a disaster emergency in anticipation of a COVID-19 outbreak, March 16, 2020, over 20,000 cases have been reported in Erie County. Whereas the Erie County Health Department successfully sought out fiscal resources toward a proactive response in COVID-related activities related to surveillance and mitigation throughout the Erie community, as administered through the Public Health Preparedness Bureau. The ECHD has worked with Erie County Gaming Revenue and various other local entities in seeking federal and state funding reimbursements necessary for the protection of public health of our citizens in Erie County. Whereas Erie County is one of the largest and most effective departments of public health in the state to combat the COVID-19 illness and works to coalesce local efforts with state and national resources to deliver vaccinations to 89,523 Erie Countyans aged 16 and up, which is 37.7% of our total population, and another 24,228 have received a single dose. Now, therefore, we, the undersigned members of Erie County Council, join a grateful citizenry in honoring the hardworking staff of the Erie County Department of Health, who tirelessly advance vital medical services for the Erie region, especially recognizing Director Melissa Lyons and Acting Director Nicole Bolash. In witness whereof, we have set our hands and the seal of Erie County this 4th day of May, 2021.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. And thank you, Ms. Line. We appreciate all that you and your entire department have done to keep us safe, to get us vaccinated. We are truly blessed to have you. Would you like to say anything, Ms. Line? I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I am.
I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say anything. I graciously accept the citation on behalf of the Erie County Department of Health. I know I speak for everyone and that we couldn't be more proud to be serving Erie County and the residents during this pandemic. So thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. Councilwoman Showerman, do you have a report you'd like to give?
Well, I would just also like to say that on behalf of County Council, I'm really, it's a pleasure to give you this citation. And we can't even begin to express our gratitude and respect that we have for you and every single person at the Erie County Department of Health. From your professionalism, your incredible diligence, hard work, and dedication to all the citizens of Erie County. And I know you've been working nonstop for over a year now. And even though it might seem to be tireless, I'm sure you all have to be extremely exhausted and the job isn't finished yet. So I know you've sacrificed a great deal of even your personal lives to protect us and to keep Erie County citizens as safe as possible. So thank you so much.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Councilwoman Showerman. Are there any other council members that would like to give a report this evening? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move on from our agenda, to our agenda.
You
Okay.
have a hand up, Mr. Matlock from the Health Department, Madam.
I'm sorry, actually, that was a clap.
That was I saw that as a clap too.
You know, maybe it should show two hands. Next time I'll do that.
Maybe it's my glasses.
You're okay. That's okay. All right, we have old business here. Mr. Smith, could we have a second reading of ordinance number 26, 2021, please? In title only?
A second reading of ordinance number 26, 2021, fifth 2021 library fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $105,500 and news bank purchase agreement for historic newspaper digitization project.
Anyone
So
seek to move
moved.
this? Thank you. Moved by Councilwoman Showerman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Shank. I would just like to note before we go to this and deal with this item, I want to note to the public here what exactly we are doing. Council actually intends to table this item, A, on the agenda, and B, for the digitization of the newspaper project, due to the fact that we have some questions on the contract, and our solicitor, Attorney Tellerico, has made phone calls and he is doing research on this contract. And once we get more information, we are going to look at taking this off of the table. But until that time, until we get all the information that we need, this will be tabled. So that is what we wanted everyone to know. We're trying to do our due diligence and make sure that we are making the right decision for Erie County when it comes to spending our taxpayer dollars. We want to do our fiduciary. We take those responsibilities very seriously. Okay, and yes, Councilwoman Rennie.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I move to table ordinance number 26.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Smith, it was moved to table this item by Councilwoman Rennie and seconded by Councilman Horton. Can we have a roll call to for tabling ordinance number 26?
On the motion to table, Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. And we have the second reading of ordinance number 27. Could you read this ordinance in title only, please, Mr. Smith?
The second reading of ordinance number 27, 2021, ninth 2021 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $105,500 for library historic newspaper digitization project.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Showerman and seconded by Councilwoman Rennie. Again, just for the public so that they are aware, we're going to be also tabling this item until we get more information on the contract. Do I have a motion to table this item?
I move to table the item.
Second.
Councilwoman Showerman has moved to table ordinance number 27. It's been seconded by Councilman Horton. Can we have a roll call on that, Mr. Smith, please?
On the motion to table ordinance 27, Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Next up, we have a second reading of ordinance number 30. This is the, oh, sorry, could you read that in, I'm doing finance committee reading. Mr. Smith, could you please read in title only ordinance number 30?
Second reading of ordinance number 30, 2021, 8th 2021 library fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $50,000 from Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund grant for the Mill Creek Branch feasibility study.
So moved. Sorry.
That was moved by Councilwoman Rennie and seconded by Councilwoman Showerman. Roll, any discussion on this? Okay, Mr. Smith, could we have a roll call?
An ordinance 30, Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
yes,
Chairwoman Clear,
Yes. Next up, we have a second reading of ordinance number 31. Could you please read that in title only, Mr. Smith?
the second reading of ordinance number 31, 2021, 10th 2021 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $25,000 match for Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund grant for the Mill Creek Branch feasibility study.
So moved.
Second.
That's been moved by Councilwoman Rennie and seconded by Councilman Shank. Roll call or any discussion? Okay, roll call.
On ordinance 31, Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
yes,
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. And now we are moving to new business on our agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilwoman Rennie.
I would like to move to amend the agenda under new business by moving items A, D, E, F, G to a second reading, and by adding item K, which is resolution number 18, to the agenda as well.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Rennie. Do I have a second?
second,
Okay, that was moved by Councilwoman Rennie and it was seconded by Councilman Shank. On the amendment, could we have a roll call, please, Mr. Smith?
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
yes,
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Okay, the second reading of ordinance number 34, please, Mr. Smith. In title only.
The second reading of ordinance number 34, 2021, 11th 2021 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation and new line for $171 donation to Veterans Treatment Court by Erie Catholic School System, St. Jude School.
So move.
Second.
That's been moved by Councilman Horton and seconded by Councilman Shank. Any discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and do the roll call. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
On ordinance number 34, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
yes,
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear,
Yes. Okay, moving on. The first reading of ordinance number 35 in title only, please, Mr. Smith.
the second reading of ordinance number 35.
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, a first reading.
Thank
of
you,
ordinance
sorry.
number 35,
Thank you.
2021. First, 2021 capital projects fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $445,000 and new line items for public safety parking lot replacement and expansion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Moving on, we have the first reading of ordinance number 36. Could you please read that in title only, please, Mr. Smith?
A first reading of ordinance number 36, 2021. Second, 2021 capital projects fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $120,000 and new line items for Blasco Library fire alarm system replacement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Now on to item D. We have a second reading of ordinance number 37. Could you please read that in title only, please, Mr. Smith?
The second reading of ordinance number 37, 2021. First, 2021 Children and Youth Services Fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $70,367 and new line item for nurturing parent grants.
So move.
I'll second it.
Now it's been moved by Councilman Horton and it's been seconded by Councilwoman Showerman. Roll call or any discussion? Then roll call, please, Mr. Smith.
An ordinance number 37, Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Moving on to item E, we have a second reading of ordinance number 38. Could we please have that in title only, Mr. Smith?
The second reading of ordinance number 38, 2021. 2021 Public Safety Fund budget, waiver of the purchasing code to transfer ownership of a 12-year-old snowmobile and rescue sled to the Presque Isle Snowmobile Club.
So move.
Second.
And that's been moved by Councilman Horton and it has been seconded by Councilman Rastetter. Discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Smith.
On ordinance number 38, Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
I'm sorry, Mr. Shank, you're muted. Miss Councilman Shank, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. I had a wasp in the bathroom.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It's my man.
You weren't stung, were you?
No, but the wife is highly allergic to them. So it was a stat issue.
It was an emergency.
Yes.
Wow. Good, thank God.
on ordinance 38, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Before I move on, Mrs. Shank is okay, right, Mr. Shank?
She's perfectly fine. She's like, we have a situation in the bathroom.
Okay.
The privileges of doing Zoom from home.
Thank goodness. Thank you, Mr. Shank. Okay. All right. Moving on to G then. We have the second reading of ordinance 40. This is, oh, sorry. Could you please read that in title only, Mr. Smith?
The second reading of ordinance number 39, 2021, 12th, 2021 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation new line for donation of 25 vehicle fire extinguishers to Sheriff Department by the Fireline Group.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Showerman, and it's been seconded by Councilman Wasp Shank. And do we have any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
On ordinance 39, Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Well, I mean, yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Chairwoman Clear.
Yes. Okay, next up, we have Resolution 15. This, if you could please read it in title only, Mr. Smith.
Madam Chair, before we go there, I believe we need to do ordinance 40.
I apologize. I
That's all right.
marked off the wrong
The
one.
next one down.
Thank you very much. I apologize. This would be the second reading of ordinance number 40. I apologize if you could read that in
Correct,
title
ma'am.
only.
A second reading of ordinance number 40, 2021, 13th, 2021 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $12,601 from divorce master restricted fees for the purchase of 2 Polycom units.
So moved.
Second.
That's been moved by Councilman Horton, and it has been seconded by Councilman Rastetter. Discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Mr. Smith.
On ordinance 40, Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shanks,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Chairwoman Claire.
Yes. Okay. Now we have, sorry, I was check marking wrong here. I was ahead of myself. Now we're at resolution 15. Could you please read this in title only, Mr. Smith?
Resolution number 15, 2021, in support of RACP grant for Mill Creek Township Presque Isle Gateway Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Rennie and seconded by Councilman Horton. Discussion, comments on this? Councilwoman or Councilman Horton?
Sure. I know we had some pretty extensive dialogue about this last week, and I stand by those comments. I am going to support this resolution, but I would like to reiterate, anytime that a letter of support comes before us from anyone, we should at least ensure that they have a copy of our resolution as it pertains to RACP funding and what we'd want to see done at the state legislature, at the state. And and I don't think that they should come in at the last minute either. I think we had another one tonight, but which I'll support as well. But I just think it's a little disingenuous for us to believe that everything is an emergency on a resolution to come in the night of the meeting. It's kind of offensive. That said, I will be supporting this resolution. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilman Horton. Any other comments or discussion? And yeah, I do want to address that too with Councilman Horton. When I got the email, that would have been at the last meeting 2 weeks ago. I did have that added to the meeting for that evening before it went to finance. So that is why I want you to know that I respect that more than you know, because I don't like when things come at the last minute either. And that's why I did take it off at the last meeting. So I appreciate that. And I want everyone to be able to have time to research any and all of the items that come up as well. So I apologize too that I acted in haste and had that done that day. So thank you very much, Mr. Horton or Councilman Horton, for bringing that up too. All right, looks like we are at the roll call. Yeah, roll call, please, Mr. Smith.
On Resolution 15, Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Chairwoman Claire.
Yes. Okay, and now we are at resolution number 16. If you could please read that in title only, Mr. Smith.
Resolution number 16, 2021, approval of tentative lease agreement between the County of Erie and Lesser Norman Beatty for offices occupied by Magisterial District Judge Christopher McKendrick.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Rennie.
How you doing? What you been doing today?
Do I have a second?
Second.
And seconded by Councilman Horton. Discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Mr. Smith.
Resolution 16, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
No.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
No.
Mr. Shank,
No.
Chairwoman Claire. It's
Yes.
3-3.
Oh, sorry, pardon me.
It's 3-3.
Okay, yes, that's, no. Okay, and resolution 17. Please read in title only, Mr. Smith.
I'm sorry, Madam Chairwoman, that was a no vote.
That was a no vote.
All right. Item fails. Resolution 17, 2021, in support of county construction, safety, accountability, and transparency that prioritizes worker safety and prevents construction fraud.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Horton, seconded by Councilman Shank. Discussion? Okay, roll call, Mr. Smith.
On Resolution 17, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Chairwoman Claire.
Yes. And added to our agenda was item K. This is resolution number 18. Could you please read it in title only, Mr. Smith?
Resolution 18, 2021, embracing Erie County's mosaic of ethos, cultures, and viewpoints.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Showerman and seconded by Councilman Shank.
Discussion?
Discussion first. Thank you very much. Councilman Horton.
Yes, I'm going to move to have this amended to create, to add language to include the Latino, Hispanic culture. I'm going to move that after the second whereas, a third whereas be added, and I'll give some language and Doug can clean it up if it needs cleaning. But the third whereas, I'd like to see it amended to read, whereas Erie County also celebrates the Latino Hispanic heritage. We celebrate the culture, achievement, and contributions to the Erie community. We celebrate the, I can't say it. We celebrate the culture, achievement, and contributions to the Erie community, helping to create the rich, diverse fabric that makes Erie County a place of tolerance, respect, and dignity for all. And so I'm going to move that that be amended to include such language at the appropriate time.
Okay. It's been moved. The amendment's been moved.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Chairman Anderson.
Yeah, I just had some comments. And I'm not sure if Andre was ready to make that amendment yet, because he said he was going to move at the appropriate time. So maybe he was waiting for other.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to thank Councilman Horton for those additional additions to this resolution, which are more than just appropriate. They should absolutely be included, and thank you for that. I think it makes it a much stronger and more diverse resolution. And I just wanted to also comment that although I had mentioned in the caucus that we were fortunate in the Erie community to not have outright incidents of racism and aggression towards the Asian and PI community and Latino communities. They do feel the slight and the undermining through microaggressions of activities that happen, and they should not have to feel those things either. And so racism and prejudice of any form in a community like ours, as diverse as ours and as welcoming as we want to be and should be and continue to be, should not be tolerated. And so this resolution that we put forward showing our respect and acceptance and welcomingness for diversity in our community is a great step forward, and I applaud all of my colleagues tonight for us doing that. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else up for discussion? Excuse me, Councilman Rastatter.
I don't see anything about that item K resolution at all on my agenda.
We added this to the agenda, Mr. Rastatter. It was sent to us before the meeting, and then Councilwoman Rennie added it at the beginning of new business.
Yeah, I heard her do that, but.
And then I can
think
resend
I
it
have
to
the
you.
latest. Well.
Yeah, because I
it
think it was an
in the
attachment
folder.
afterward.
If you say so.
Okay.
If there's not any if there's not any other of my colleagues who care to discuss it, I move that this be amended to include the added language, whereas Erie County also celebrates the Latino Hispanic heritage. We celebrate the culture, achievement, and contributions to the Erie community, helping to create the rich, diverse fabric that makes Erie County a place of tolerance, respect, and dignity for all. And I'll give that language to Mr. Smith when I walk across the hall as well.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Horton and seconded by Councilwoman Showerman. And this is for the amendment, I believe, Mr. Smith. Okay, all right, thank you. So if we could have roll call on the amendment.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Claire.
Yes. And then I don't know if I opened it up for discussion again before we go to any other discussion before we go to roll call on the amended resolution 18. Okay, Mr. Smith, roll call on the amended resolution 18.
Mrs. Rennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman,
Yes.
Mr. Shank,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Chairwoman Claire.
Yes. Okay. And that leaves us with the adjournment. I want to thank you all for attending this evening. The next Finance and Personnel Committee meetings are going to be May 20th, 2021. The next regular meeting of Erie County Council is going to be May 25th, 2021. And if no one else has anything, then
Madam Chair.
yes, Councilman or Chairman Anderson.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for filling in for me tonight. As chair of the meeting, you did an excellent job, and I appreciate all you did tonight to keep the meeting in order and moving forward. And you did it with dignity and with class, as always. And I thank you for your professionalism, and thank all of my colleagues tonight for the work that we accomplished on behalf of the community. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you very much. You don't ever need to thank me.
Yeah, great job, Kim. Yeah, everyone have a great evening. Be safe.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody. Good job, Kim. Thank you.
Being adjourned. Thank you all for your help.
So much.
5:15 for the record.
Oh.